What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I am the Confused Alien. Today we have a really special guest. This guy has been my best friend since we were about what,
probably like middle school, high school. So we were like 11.
Yeah, 11, 10, 11, whatever. So he has a channel that he is starting. Take it away. What is the name of your channel? What is it about? And what can people expect?
The name of the channel is andrewmedaTV. Kind of just a play on Andromeda, like the Andromeda galaxy, because I'm into the stars and the solar system and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
But my entire channel is basically whatever the fuck I feel like putting on there. Sorry if you don't like curse word. I don't know if you curse on this channel, actually.
A little bit. Sometimes a little bit.
All right. Yeah. I'll tone it down, but it's cool. Yeah, no, basically whatever I feel like putting on there. So there's going to be gameplay, there's going to be stream highlights, because I stream on Twitch also at Andromeda TV.
Cool.
And basically whatever I feel like putting on there. I was also looking at doing like reactions, like when there's a gameplay trailer that comes out, or if there's a movie trailer that comes out that interests me, something like what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And really just whatever goes on in my head is going to go on that YouTube channel. And I may not be the most exciting person in the world, but I can promise good content.
One thing I say, again, I still have a pretty small channel, but it's kind of cool to see what your viewers kind of pick for you.
Right.
When I started this channel, I thought it was going to be primarily Star Wars, and what it kind of turned to, it was just kind of something that came into my favorites. As much as I love Star Wars, one of my favorite things to review are like big monsters. So it just turns out that people really like Godzilla on my channel, which is really awesome. And that kind of what brings us to this video today, is that we are going to do a in-depth breakdown of Godzilla versus Kong. So this is 100% spoilers. I already did my spoiler review for my channel, but now we're going to talk more about it. Me and Andrew, we saw Godzilla 2014 opening day. It was not night. It was opening day when that came out. And I remember how excited we were, and now the monster versus come full circle, and we are at the conclusion of where we began in 2014. So, Andrew, you saw Godzilla versus Kong. Initial reaction?
It was the most hype and most insane movie that I've ever watched. I loved it from start to end. Like I usually what I do when I try to watch any type of movie nowadays, like I'll put it on in the background while I'm doing things. This one, like, no, I was full focus.
Yeah.
I couldn't get away from it. Just the twists and turns, and like I like to keep myself spoiler free. So like I only saw the first trailer that they released. I never watched any other trailer. Anytime I saw an advertisement come up on Twitter or something for it, I would just scroll right past it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, like for me, the Mechagodzilla did get spoiled, but that actually got spoiled for me about a year ago. When they had a toy fair, and the toy leaked. And there was a blurred image, so we kind of already knew Mechagodzilla was in it. We just didn't know how. Like, one of the things where from that first trailer was, and I was happy they didn't go this route, but in the original Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, it's actually the Godzilla you're seeing is Mechagodzilla disguised. So a lot of people were theorizing that it was going to be Kong fighting Mechagodzilla the whole time, and then the real Godzilla would come out and save the day. To me, if they would have did that, the whole movie would have been destroyed. Because I came to see Godzilla versus Kong, not Kong versus Mechagodzilla for a whole movie, and then Godzilla comes in and helps. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that's not the route they went. And for me, I made a night out of it. I worked that day. I got through work. I picked up 2 pieces. And me, my fiance, and my father-in-law, we sat down and ate some pizza, and we watched this movie that I've been waiting for like 2 years now. And it was nice. It was weird. It was kind of weird at first to watch such a blockbuster on my own TV. But honestly, I kind of dug it because I'm one of those people, Andrew can tell you, I get really annoyed by people talking, especially when I care a lot about the film I'm about to watch. So it's kind of nice to be able to control the environment. I warned everybody ahead of time, please don't talk. Like, just let me watch this movie. And it was like everything I want. One of the things I really love about the Monsterverse was the fact that in 2014, Gareth Edwards took a really serious approach. We needed it. We needed that dark, serious approach. And then you got Kong Skull Island that came in, which, by the way, they announced today that Jordan Voight Roberts is going to be directing a live-action Gundam movie for Netflix.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, I thought that was really awesome. I thought of you immediately, and I was like, I'm talking to I love Noah on air. But I thought what they did good in that film was they kind of, although they kept it serious, they started bringing a little bit of silliness, right? They embraced what they were. Like, Gareth took us in a serious approach, and then Kong Skull Island took us to like, okay, the characters are serious, but you as audience are well aware that this is a monster movie, you know? So they knew exactly the movie they were coming. And then what I loved about King of the Monsters was that the director, Michael Dougherty, took it in such a way that he really embraced that old Toho cheese, right? Like, you know, the one part was like the doors broken on the Argo, and he's like, "You're gonna need a big wrench,"
yeah.
Or like, when they like Godzilla, you know, you're like that lizard's juice. Like those lines, like it knows exactly what it is. And then you got a guy like Adam Wingard who came in and just went full bananas, like he should have, like with two of these giant titans fighting. But he didn't take himself serious. He knew exactly what the movie was. It's two monsters fighting. We had a lot of people like to talk bad about the characters. None of the characters in any of the movies bothered me at all. Like, a lot of people like say, "Oh, these monster movies have terrible characters." Well, if you're coming for this movie for the character development, I can't help you. I just can't. Okay.
I think they're great. I think they're much needed comedic relief.
Yes.
Some of them are comedic relief from the seriousness of the battle that's going on.
Exactly.
And then you have some characters that are just serious because they know how serious this is.
Yes.
So you need them for a human connection, or else you're just going to have a bunch of monsters that you have no idea what they're actually feeling.
Yes. And I actually really like the fact that they used Kong as the connection to us.
Right.
Like, Kong was definitely the heart of the film, and we're Godzilla people through and through. Mm-hmm. But I had a hard time rooting for Godzilla at certain points of the movie because Kong was the relationship between him and that little girl. It was hard to root against him. Like when she was like, "Be careful!" Like I was like, "Damn, Kong!" Like,
be careful, Kong.
You know, like, but like I will say, my favorite, besides the little girl Gia, I think Gia was like the best human character of the entire MonsterVerse.
Right.
Besides Gia, I really loved Bernie.
Bernie's great.
I loved it because I love conspiracy theorist people. Like, I love that they exist in real life, and I think they're super entertaining. And sometimes I get fall into this rabbit hole, like, yeah, you know, maybe, like, you know, okay. But I love the fact that he was this crazy podcaster that just kind of came right. And I love, my favorite line of the whole movie is when he's talking to Mark Russell at the end, and he's like, you know, I think that there's a connection with Roswell. Because in my head, I'm like, well, if they're going to set up a sequel, that could be Space Godzilla, that could be Gigan, you know, we don't know. But I love the fact that he mentioned Roswell because there's so much to unload from that, you know?
Right.
And that's the thing, like, I love the direction they took in the MonsterVerse. Like, I think that this is literally my favorite cinematic universe of our time, and because, like, I just think that this is a very consistent universe.
Oh yeah. No, and it's like what I told you the other day, just like the fact that they were able in this movie to blend so much of what you liked from the Godzilla movies, yep, which was they're more serious, they're more like destruction, like here's Godzilla, you know, when he shows up, like shit's going down,
yes,
like the city's gonna get destroyed, like, you know, that like, right, like he's mad at something, it's not the humans, he's mad at something, yeah, and he's here to destroy it. So like they captured that tone. They also captured a lot of the lightheartedness from Kong Skull Island, because there was a lot of lightheartedness in the characters that they had in that movie. So they were able to capture both qualities so well in this movie that it fits so good that you were just like, oh man, like this is the movie that everyone's been waiting for, and they delivered. And one other thing in this movie that I thought was better than any other movie that I've, and I'm gonna put this on record, better than any other movie that I've ever watched, is the visuals matching the feeling of the movie.
Yup. I think this might be the most visually stunning film I've ever seen. And before that it was maybe Avatar.
Right.
You know, like I don't think you don't like Avatar as a movie, right? Like
no, I've never actually watched it.
Oh, okay.
I'm one of those people that didn't watch it when it came out because it was so popular.
Yeah.
And then I just never got around to watching it. So
well, that's like I do love Avatar as a movie. I think it's great, but like I think it was so visually beautiful. Like I think it was like the best like film I've seen visually wise, right? But I like just that close up of Kong when he's with the axe,
right,
was like one of the most gorgeous shots I've ever seen in my life. To know that that's not even real,
right,
and like that was impressive. Like I've never seen CGI so well in my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is one of my favorite movies of all time already. I've already watched it, I think 8 times at this point. But I can say is that this is the most beautiful film I've ever seen.
Right.
It is.
I just love the, like, when they went into the Hollow Earth, like all the visuals in there, like how you can, above you there was still ground because Hollow Earth, so like you have just gravity that works in weird ways, so you could be walking on the ceiling for all you know. And like, and then also just the lighting effects that they had inside of Hollow Earth, like all the blue lighting, all the power lighting that they had, and then they brought that all into focus when they went to Hong Kong, and all the lighting in Hong Kong at night is insane and beautiful. Which
is real, by the way. That's what Hong Kong legit looks like, which not many people realize. Like that's legit. That's what it looks like, and it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but it, again, like just the way that it was able to blend so perfectly with the way that they illustrated the Hollow Earth, and how they brought in the monsters, and Kong had his axe that would glow up when he was absorbing Godzilla's beam and everything. It was great. I can't get enough.
Yeah, so we'll take it to the beginning. We'll go through the movie. So the movie starts out with Kong on Skull Island, and you know, they have that really nice song of him waiting for a girl, and obviously the girl is waiting for is little Gia, and she made this really cute doll of Kong. But Kong obviously is like, you know, there's something else on his mind. And when you see him do the tree spear, and he throws it, and you see the dome, you know, my first impression was like, where the hell are they?
Right.
But one of the things I like is that one of the references to old Kong films is that, you know, Skull Island ultimately always gets flooded, right? Like something always happens to Skull Island. And it was kind of nice to see them kind of continue that trend. And you see that the reason why he's in this containment facility is because Skull Island is being basically swallowed by like the Hollow Earth. I just thought like that was such a cool, like visually scene, and to see like Kong like know that this isn't his home anymore, and you start right there, you already see his pain, that he's lonely besides this girl with Gia, you know.
Right, and that's like the only bit of like interaction that he has with anyone that's like, I mean, similar to him, because he's the last of his kind. So and any sort of help that he can getting to where he can be with his family, or where he belongs, like that's what he's trying to find. And it, to him, I'm sure it feels like he's just stuck and people are using him, and like he just wants to go where he lives.
Exactly. And I love the fact that they immediately set up the story of, well, the containment's also blocking him from Godzilla,
Right.
And then they suspect that there was an ancient rivalry, like a great war between the species, right? Mm-hmm. So I like that they already set up that. So we're kind of like, okay, so Godzilla is going to sense Kong, and that's what's going to set him off. But then we jump to Pensacola, Florida, where we see our boy Bernie trying to infiltrate the company Apex, which I love Walter Simmons as a villain. He says my favorite line in the movie, which we'll get to later towards the end of the film. He says it, but I like I like that they almost take a Pacific Rim approach.
Right.
With the colors, Hong Kong is definitely Pacific Rim, but also in the alarms, the Titan alert, like when Rim's kaiju. And you see that fin and that beautiful visual of the ship, just kind of, and like Godzilla, the blue, and he lifts his head up, and you're like, oh god. And then you get to see, and then you kind of get a glimpse of, although if I have to nitpick, is with the character of Ren Serizawa, you knew that was Dr. Serizawa's son, right?
Yep.
I wish they could have explored a little bit more.
Right.
Now, I know Adam Wingard has expressed that there's a 5-hour cut out there. Now, he said that this is the perfect movie. This is his definitive vision of the film. But unfortunately, I guess a lot of the parts maybe they filmed to set up why Ren has such hatred towards Godzilla honestly fell on the cutting room floor. Which, to me, it doesn't hinder the movie, but I would, because I was interested in Ren. There was something about him that I was very interested in. But you see that stare off. You see tension between the two. Now, when you first see that eye of Mechagodzilla, you being someone who has not watched any trailer, you weren't aware of any spoilers, what did you assume that was?
I just thought it was some device that they were going to use to try and fight Godzilla. Like I knew that there was something up, like with because Godzilla doesn't just attack a human facility like that for no reason. So I assumed that there was something that they were building to either attract him to try and like manipulate him in some sort of way or fight him. So I didn't know exactly what it was at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because like I already knew, like in my head I'm like, there it is, G, And then we meet Alexander Skarsgard's character, who I really liked. Dr. Lin, and you see Walter Simmons comes, and obviously they express the Hollow Earth, and they set up a storyline that his brother died in the Hollow Earth, which was cool that there's a correlation now there, and he got those vehicles, the heaves that can withstand. So that's already setting us up now. Like, okay, Kong's got to get off the island. Mm-hmm. So when Kong's finally off the island, we already know Godzilla's pissed off by whatever the object was.
Right.
Because one of the complaints I hear is Godzilla just seems so angry. Well, think about it. He senses what we now know is Mechagodzilla, but he's not sensing Mechagodzilla. He's sensing Ghidorah. Mm-hmm. Which Ghidorah is his biggest rival.
Right.
And then on top of that, he senses someone that they already set up to have a very ancient rival with his species, which is Kong. So he's double pissed. He feels like his turf is being stomped on, because there could only be one Alpha Titan, and Godzilla's Alpha. So that's when, to me, sorry about that. So, like I was saying, when you saw Gia, actually we skipped something. There was a big significant moment. We had a Planet of the Apes Caesar moment, right? When Kong signs. Mm-hmm. That was cool.
That was really cool.
Because Godzilla, I feel, is very primal.
Right.
He's very instinctual, and you can see that Kong has intelligence. And that, to me, and that's the thing. That's why I knew Kong would be a formidable opponent. Just because Kong doesn't have the amount of armor than Godzilla and weaponry, right? He's got his brain.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of mixed martial arts. I'm a fan of boxing, and most of the fighters that are the ones that win the most are the most intelligent. Kong's an intelligent fighter. They set that up right there. And to me, I think that's that was very important to actually show a competitive fight, because let's be honest, dude, it's an atomic lizard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about this on our podcast where I chose Godzilla to win because it's Godzilla.
Yeah. Because even in the original Toho film, King Kong vs. Godzilla, they actually gave Kong like electrical abilities, like almost like Palpatine, you know, like literally lightning bolts come out of his hand. So they even had to give him something to rival Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, yeah, he gets his battle axe in this movie, but I think they showed right then and there, like his brain is going to ultimately help him with this battle. Like not only is he instinctual with his like primate ways, but he's highly intelligent. Mm-hmm. So I think that was really important. But the scene, like when you first see them go toe to toe, holy crap!
It's crazy. Like you just see like Godzilla's coming in, Kong's chained up. You're like, oh no, this isn't gonna go well. Yeah. And then Godzilla immediately capsizes the boat. And then luckily they got over, released Kong, and Kong was like, all right, I need to get off this boat so it flips back so people don't die. Yeah. Because he doesn't want them to die. So then he immediately spots that aircraft carrier, and he's like, all right, that seems big enough. We could fight all there. and that just that scene alone, like him jumping from boat to boat was so cool. Like
Go ahead.
It was just like a really cool piece of like film work.
Yeah. Well, did you notice the Jaws references in that scene? Like the big one obviously is the fins, obviously.
Right.
Like, the scene in Jaws when they hit him with the barrels and he sinks the barrels.
Yep.
That was like the ship, dude.
Right.
Like,
he had the ship with him.
Yeah, like Godzilla was definitely like Jaws in this, you know, like a lot of, and then also too like the I don't know if you ever saw Shin Godzilla.
No.
It's like it came out right after Godzilla 2014. It was like the latest Toho film. It's pretty good. You would really like it. It goes back to like classic Godzilla, like when he's the only villain, like he's actually a bad guy. So the scene with the tail, that was definitely an homage to Shin Godzilla. But what I like is one, that friggin' right hand he hits Godzilla with, like Godzilla ate that, dude. He came back, like, you know, like, oh man, like right there you knew like this was gonna be like insane. And the fact that Kong went toe to toe underwater, that says
crazy. Something. Yeah,
that was crazy, man. I actually bought a shirt. I was at the outlets and they actually had a shirt of the poster. I think it's the Japanese poster, but it is Kong fighting Godzilla underwater. And I was like,
right.
Yeah,
that's a dope shirt then. So
I will say this though. Kong, one of the things that they did do theme-wise in this film is Kong did need quite a bit of assistance from the human characters. Godzilla did not.
Right.
And like, Kong would have lost that first fight if it wasn't for the humans intervening. And to me, sometimes it would have been nice maybe to not have the humans intervene. Like I understand with that one, but there's a fight later on that I'm like, they didn't need to intervene with this. But obviously we'll get to that.
Right.
So like, but I do like the fact that like they had to basically force Kong to like play dead, like which shutting the ships off, because like Godzilla he's relentless, and that's the best word to describe Godzilla in this film is relentless. Like he's gonna stop at nothing to stop what he thinks is Ghidorah and Kong. Because Godzilla feels threatened at this point. He is the balance, and that's what's always been the theme of the film, of these films, is he's balanced. Now balance is out of whack. We have Kong, which, like she made it clear, Kong bows to no one. Right. Which I think was like a badass line. Super good. Tattooed on my head, you know, like that's a cool line. So they already established Kong's not gonna go down without a fight, you know. Like Kong's not just gonna just give it to him. Like you know, like in King of the Monsters, Rodan, he kind of, all right, you know, I'll bow to you. Like that final scene, all those monsters bow down. That Kong wasn't. And one of the things I think is cool was, now I didn't personally read it, but I think in the King of the Monsters novelization, they actually say that Kong heard Ghidorah's cries, his call. You know, as the new alpha. Remember, like in King of the Monsters, all the monsters were going to him. They said Kong ignored it.
Right.
and just shows you the defiance of Kong. Kong don't care. He's like, who are you? You three-headed loser? Like, you kidding? You know, and that's the thing. Like Kong doesn't care. And I think that's what I really like is like the defiance of Kong.
Yeah, and I think that kind of plays into like Godzilla's always been a loner. He's always done things his own way, not needing any help from anyone. And Kong hasn't really needed help from anyone. In fact, has tried to get rid of everyone to leave him alone. And then, but he even like realized when he laid back down on that ship, he's like, nah, I need to like let this one ride out.
Yep.
I'll get him later.
And I think that has a lot to do with like the intelligence factor, right? Like Kong's not pure instinct like Godzilla, and that's the thing. Like Kong's like, you might have won the battle, but I'm going to win this war. So I think that was really cool. And then we get to the point where like, you know, they give a really cool homage to again King Kong versus Godzilla when you see Kong in the net being carried by the helicopters.
Right.
In the original, it's balloons, which is funny. So it's kind of cool to see Kong going to Antarctica, and I think that's where we get to see the beauty of the Hollow Earth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they basically kind of fool Kong, not fool him, but they kind of say, "Hey, your family could be down there," and that's when you get. That's another thing where you can see like the loneliness of Kong.
Yeah.
And it's kind of heartbreaking too at the same time. Now, listen, the Hollow Earth's a big place. We only saw such a small fraction, so there could be others like Kong down there.
Right.
We don't know. But this is the fight. As much as I loved it, we got to see the Warbats. You know, once they get into the Hollow Earth and you get to see the craziness of it, you meet a new Titan, the Warbat, which I like that. Obviously, you know, I like snakes.
Yeah.
It's like a giant king cobra. But one of the things I thought was really cool, I watched an interview with Adam Wingard. He said he was inspired by the Black Mamba. And if you look at like a shot of him, like without being hooded up, he looks like the head shape is exactly a mamba, which is really cool. Which a black mamba is a part of the cobra family.
Right.
But what did you think of the Warbats? Like as a new Titan, as an original legendary Titan, what did you think of the Warbats?
I thought they were really cool. They were really versatile in how they could fight, and they seemed pretty smart in how to like figure out, all right, we basically just gotta suffocate this dude because he's breathing air. So like that one Warbat almost got him.
Yeah.
Luckily the humans intervened on that one.
Yeah, and to me, like, and again, I listened, I had tiny criticism, but none of the criticism that I'm like, because honestly, dude, this movie's perfect to me. But like, for me, I'm like, I wish they would have let Kong take them both out on their own. Like, I don't think Kong needed help. You know, like Kong's strong enough that he could have probably won, but I get it. Like, you know, they want to show the humans on his side, Kong humans, it's the connection. Right. But I'm just like, come on, man, you don't need to help him with that. Come on, let Kong whoop some butt, dude. But like when he took the first one out with such ease, man. And that's come on, but I love seeing Kong like ground and pound it and then eat it. Like that was so cool. And I mentioned Avatar earlier. A lot of people are comparing the Hollow Earth to Pandora. Yeah. And again, it's like two of the most beautiful piece of visuals I've ever seen. You know, like the world of Pandora and the Hollow Earth. Like my hopes, if the MonsterVerse continues, I think the next movie should be the second Kong movie. Yeah, and I think it should be the Hollow Earth. Right. Because there's some things that we're going to talk about a little bit later of the future and if there's a future. Although this movie's doing very well, but there's things to do with the rights. So, you know,
hold on one.
So we discussed that we do like the Warbats. We obviously love Hollow Earth. But I think the most important thing was, you know, in King of the Monsters, we saw Godzilla's like lair. And this one, they introduced us to Kong's lair. So to me, that's really cool that we got to see like Kong's like ancestry home. You know, this shows that they originate from the Hollow Earth. Now, do you think, like, because they weren't clear, do you think Godzilla comes from Hollow Earth, or do you think or do you think it's just Kong? Like, how did you take? Do you think all Titans come from Hollow Earth, or is it like?
I think all of them know how to get to Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think all of them have a home down there.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla's was part of Hollow Earth in a way, but it wasn't like in that zone.
Yeah.
Because again, Hollow Earth is huge, so like, how are we supposed to know exactly where they were within the Hollow Earth?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like Godzilla's was more on the other side of the planet. Like it seemed like he was more in like the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Whereas this one would be in the Pacific, because I mean, as we're about to get to, Godzilla is able to shoot his beam straight down from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So leads you to believe that it's around there.
Yeah, so like, basically like when we're down there, obviously like, we finally see that axe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a dorsal plate from Godzilla. And to me, it looked like it was in the skull of a Godzilla species.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it could be the that lizard we saw early on that eats the crabs. Some people think it's that, but I don't think that would make much sense. I think it would be a Godzilla species,
I think that makes sense.
And I like that the fact that the floor was lined with like the axes, and it made an image, when it reacted to the core, and like then at this point you kind of find out that like what Apex is up to,
right?
Because it cuts back to with Team Godzilla, they got on this shuttle to like full of skullcrawler eggs, which was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and they have this shuttle that shoots from like Florida to Hong Kong in like probably I guess like hours. It's pretty quick. And that's when we first see Mechagodzilla. And now for you to not know Mechagodzilla, what were your impressions of Mechagodzilla when you first saw it?
I thought the design was fucking awesome. Yeah. Like, I thought it was so cool. Like, I just saw like all the moving parts and everything just like flowing perfectly. It reminded me of like scenes that you would see from like a Transformers movie when like the robots are transforming into their fighting form. And I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. And when they first powered it on and did the demonstration, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Seems pretty weak. And then like they showed that it was attached to the skull. It was the Ghidorah skull, right?
Yes.
So once I saw that, I was like, ah, man, now I'm getting more Transformers vibes when they used Megatron to make the fake Megatron.
Yep.
And
Galvatron.
Exactly. So I was like, this isn't gonna end well. This never ends well when they do this in movies.
Yeah, like to me, I felt like, which is another legendary property, is Pacific Rim. I was very much like, damn, like
that too, yeah.
Pacific Rim, and that's what you got to see, like Ghidorah being the still the villain of the franchise, like Ghidorah haunting the film and still screwing with Godzilla even after he's dead.
Right.
And I loved seeing that they used skull crawlers as almost guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that the Mechagodzilla was only at like 40%.
Right.
So it was still like nothing. And, and they needed the energy from the Hollow Earth. And, that's not going to be good, because ultimately, we know that that's one of Godzilla's ultimate rivals.
Mm-hmm.
So, Godzilla now senses, he's in Hong Kong. Angel mentioned earlier, he's in Hong Kong. Somehow directly below them is Kong and Team Kong and the villains of Apex. And, obviously Apex gets their hands on the core.
Right.
I will say one of the coolest parts to me was when Kong took the heave and crushed it with the girl in it.
Yeah, her character just seemed almost pointless to me.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that straight from the beginning, like how like she was trying to be like this really like nose up person, like looking down on everyone, and I was like, oh man, she's gonna get wrecked because she's got an attitude on her, and there's really no point to her character other than to be like, haha, my father's evil, haha.
Yeah, and like honestly, like you could smell her from a mile away that she was evil. You know, like from the moment she walked on the ship, you're like, you're an evil woman. You're bad. But that leads me to like one of my favorite moments when they catch Bernie and the two, Madison and Josh, and they're watching Mechagodzilla, and you know Walter Simmons makes a comment. If you're saying that I and I alone am the reason for all this, then yes, that was me. Like basically just taking full credit, like I and I alone. I'm like, that's like the best. Like he's because like they paint him out to be like this narcissist, you know, like it's all about him. It was just
right.
It's so perfect. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. But yeah, that was like my favorite line, just the way he played it. Like he was like, I actually wish he was in it more because every time, like even when they're talking like back earlier when they were talking to the guy after Hollow Earth, and he's like, these crazy ideas made me rich. Like I'm like, I like your character. You're a bad dude, but like I like it. But yeah, so after Godzilla, we'll just jump to it. Godzilla just shooting the friggin' heat ray down into the ground.
I thought that was insane.
Yeah, and I think like when he looked up, that was such a beautiful shot. The eyes glowing, you see the blue, like that was insanity. And actually, I wasn't really thinking. I was like, I don't really know. Like I thought what he was doing was that he was trying to get the Mechagodzilla.
Right, that's what I thought at first too.
Yeah, I did not think he was going to, because honestly, you know, I kept thinking, how the hell are they going to get to Hong Kong? Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, it was like they just went from Antarctica. Like, how are they going to get to Hong Kong? And then out of nowhere, like the Godzilla answers that question. I'm like, the G-Man, okay, I guess
he's on it.
And this is where like Kong finally like stands on his own.
Yeah.
Dude. Round one of Hong Kong was insane.
It was nuts, like absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
The fight scene was incredible. It was beautifully directed. Like the visuals on it were insane, and just like the back and forth that just kept on ensuing because you're like, oh man, like Kong's got Godzilla on the ropes now, and then Godzilla pulls back and he's like, no, I'm coming after you, and Kong's running away, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna end, but I'm gonna be happy either way. Yeah,
and like, and I love the grittiness of it, right? Like it wasn't like it was like, okay, the way I think about it, like in 2014 you had like an inexperienced Godzilla. He fought the two Mutos, you know. He didn't struggle too hard, but like if it was like when he was one-on-one, he did really well. But two of them, he struggled a little bit. He was green, right? That was his first fight. Then you get to King of the Monsters, and he doesn't experience Godzilla. Now he had a tough time against Ghidorah, but for the most part, like he was strategic. He did good. This was a dogfight.
Right.
This was like pure instinct, anger, and pissed Godzilla. You know, like that's what I think I loved about the fight so much was that it was like a street fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't like two pros going at it. It was two people that just got into a fight on the street and they're going to town on each other. And like this was like, I want to say like one of the first times that we've seen Godzilla like bite. Because like most of the time it's been a guy in a suit. And like to see him like use like his mouth is biting, and like the one part like, well, we're skipping it. Who cares? When he's like on all fours.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I'm like, that's nuts.
That's scary.
So, but like Kong wins the second fight, and that's why I like the characters. Like Kong gets round two. I'm like, yeah, right. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. To that, like now it's like okay, like Kong just took it. Now I still thought to myself that Godzilla's gonna win.
Right.
I just did. Kong won the original film. I can't imagine, because Toho has to sign off on everything, and I can't imagine Toho allowing Godzilla to lose this fight.
Yeah.
When after like the two go at it for the third time, like that's when Godzilla's like on all 4 feet and he's just pissed. And I think one of my favorite scene of the entire MonsterVerse, so much that I want to get this tattooed on me, was when Godzilla smiles and laughs.
It was so
like,
cool.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god. Like I'm not kidding you. I want that tattooed on me. God, that image
Get
of
it.
Godzilla's face.
You better get it.
I think I'm going to. But like, that's when you knew like this was not the Godzilla we've grown with now. This is a different breed of Godzilla. And then he gets on all fours and he just like gets Kong by his toes and throws him around, and like, you know, Kong blows his friggin' shoulder out, and then like that scene where he steps on, where he's clawing his chest, like I could feel it. I'm like, oh, Godzilla, what are you doing? And then when he puts his hand, his foot on Kong's chest, and to me, I took it as like he's basically saying like, I can do this all day, dude.
Right.
Like I'm sparing you, but like do not screw with me.
Yeah.
I will kick your ass any chance I get.
He's
and
like you don't bow to anyone, but you're gonna bow to me.
Yeah. And then when he screams in his face and to me, I thought it was beautiful when Kong screamed back, because Kong wasn't giving up.
Right.
But I think Kong knew the fight was done.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, then we finally get to, which I think is like definitively at this point, and he might be the strongest villain ever with Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
I mean, how about that, dude?
Yeah.
When he
full power Mechagodzilla, when he just came out and just started slapping Godzilla around.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is how it's gonna end. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Godzilla had a hard time. Now, granted, listen, Godzilla just fought 3 rounds with Kong, so right. I don't know. Maybe he's tired. I mean, what percentage is Godzilla? I don't know, but from what I've always known about Godzilla, he's an indestructible force of nature.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't matter how many fights. I mean, we watch Godzilla Final Wars. He fought how many monsters in that movie, and he, still fine. But I think that honestly, like definitively, like I think that Mechagodzilla might be the strongest, and I think that I think they did this, and although I like the movie, I like Batman vs Superman. It's not a bad movie. I think they did the final battle way better than Batman vs Superman.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Like today. Like I think what was nice was they allowed Godzilla to win the fight between the two, but I like that they still gave Kong his moment to shine.
Right.
And we'll go like obviously like Kong's on his deathbed, like literally Godzilla beat Kong within an inch of his life. Like Kong is dying, and if it wasn't for Alexander Skarsgard's character basically giving him a what is that called when you clear?
Yeah. Everyone knows what that is. Clear.
Yeah, that thing, the clear thing. It basically jolts his heart back to life. And then Kong just throws his shoulder into the friggin' building and puts it back in place, and that's when Gia does that really awesome scene. Just be careful, and again you just see the connection between the two, and she's the one that tells him like Godzilla's not your enemy, and like
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because the trust between the two of them.
Right.
It's beautiful, and I love those two. Like if they're making another Kong movie and she's not in it,
yeah,
it'd be nasty.
Yeah, I think it was great. And then when Kong goes over there and like Godzilla at first isn't sure what's going on, he's like, oh man, like am I gonna have to fight both of these dudes? And then Kong's just like, nah, I'm helping, you're cool.
Yeah. And I think that was really cool too, like when Godzilla realized, well, first off, how about Godzilla was gonna lose to his own finishing move?
Yeah.
And that's what was kind of crazy, was like to see Mechagodzilla put his hands in Godzilla's mouth, and he was gonna Muto the hell out of him. That was hard for me to watch. So I'm like, how are you gonna do this to Godzilla? Like, you're gonna make him die by like this? Like, this is because I although like in my head I knew Kong was gonna save him. It was tough to watch because you're like, there was that, and like just to see like the little grips and like, and then Kong to come in and let me ask you a question. In your lifetime, did you ever sit there and ever think to yourself like you're gonna one day watch King Kong fight Mechagodzilla?
Not at all.
Like to me, that was so cool to see that, and it was just perfect. Like a lot of people think it's a cop out when they do these versus movies and then they do a team up. I like it because it gives you a chance to see your two heroes. Because ultimately, like these are heroes, right? It's not like Freddy vs. Jason, you know, like they needed to just be the only two, and they were. They beat up each other, just like Alien vs. Predator. There's no team up with those two.
Right.
They fought. But Godzilla and Kong, they're heroes, okay? Anti-hero, hero, whatever. At the end of the day, they're good guys of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Iron Man, Captain America, they're good guys. They come together at the end. Batman, Superman, whatever. You need that. You can't just have one just be the first. They already spent a whole movie painting Godzilla as the villain.
Right.
This was the redemption for the King of the Monsters and the King of the Hollow Earth. And I think it was perfect to allow Kong to get the final blow.
Right.
You know, taking off Mechagodzilla's head and holding it up like Mortal Kombat style was just sick.
Fatality.
And I just think it was just a really great ending.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean, not really much else to say. And then they just basically had their send-off where Godzilla and Kong both mutually were just like, all right, we cool now.
No, I take it as I don't know about you, but Kong submitted. Yeah. He dropped the axe. Now, I think Kong did it for Gia.
He did.
I think he trusted her. Because remember, Kong's intelligent. Godzilla's instinctual. And I took it as like, he was like, Gia said he's my friend. And I do think that Kong respects Godzilla now. And I think he knows, like, okay, like, you can be King Crap up here. I'll be King Crap down there. And I think the movie sets up, hopefully a Kong 2.
Right.
With the Skull Island. Now, the dilemma we're having here is that Toho, the rights reverted back to Toho. Legendary, as of right now, does not have the rights to Godzilla anymore. So, can a MonsterVerse even exist without Godzilla? And I think that we can get, and they want to continue it because just today, Legendary came out and thanked the fans and said that they had a lot of ideas. And during a pandemic, they've made $350 million in the box office during a pandemic.
That's nuts.
And we don't even know what they've done on HBO Max.
Right. Yeah, the subscription costs that increase and everything for people to come in and watch it, like that. Yep. It's got to be skyrocketing.
Yeah, and then also at the same time too, Warner Brothers paid Legendary $200 million just to put it on HBO Max. So they already made their money back in the budget. So my hopes is that Toho looks at this as a viable option and lets us continue, because I think that one, we do Kong 2.
Right.
Then we do a Destroy All Monsters or a Godzilla versus Space Godzilla or something, right? But ultimately, I think there needs to be I think there should be like 3 more films. Kong 2, another Godzilla, and then the final film should be like Destroy All Monsters, where it's a giant, like, Avenger-level movie where everybody faces off against Destroyer.
Right.
That's what I would want to do. But I hope, like, and that's the thing that stinks, is like this movie has done so well, and the MonsterVerse is doing so well as a whole that it needs to continue.
Right.
And I think it's up to us as the fans to keep spreading the word, keep doing content on the MonsterVerse, because, you know, we are powerful, and there's a lot worse franchise out there that continues to make movies, and this is a good franchise.
Marvel.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the best fan bases ever.
Right. Oh no, I've never seen so many people just come out. I didn't even know half the people that are talking about this movie were fans of the other movies.
Yeah.
Until this movie came out, and it's like it's great. And I want to see it continue. I really want to see it continue, because I think there's a lot more that they can play. I'm actually a fan of the idea of making some spin-off shows just for the human characters. Well,
actually, the rumor is that HBO Max is doing a Monarch TV series.
Okay. I'd also like to see one about like Apex.
That would be really cool. See, I would like that too.
I think that would be a really cool, like, how Apex came about, and like and like just how they came with all this technology that they ended up developing. Like, because everything in the human side of things advanced so much between King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, but you don't see any of it.
Yeah, and then one of the things that is cool too is Netflix has a Kong anime series coming out, which it's going to be. I think it takes place after the events of Skull Island. So we will see more of Kong for sure, and I'm with you. I would love to see more of Apex, and I think that the Monarch show sounds cool. Could be like an X-Files type of deal,
right? Or like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Like there's so much more to this universe. It's a really fantastic universe, and there's also Legendary created their own monsters that we saw in King of the Monsters. You know, we have Behemoth, Scylla, Methuselah. Why get them their own little something? I would love to see HBO Max take a risk and do a Behemoth movie on HBO Max.
Yeah,
doesn't have to go to theaters. Doesn't have to be even a huge like $100 million.
Right.
Put it on. You know, the MonsterVerse is a very viable universe, and there's a lot still left to explore. I think that Toho would be silly to not go this route. I don't like me personally. This is my favorite iteration of Godzilla. I think this is the best Godzilla's ever been, and I'm a Godzilla guy, and so are you. We've always been for a long time. And also, Ed Boon, who makes Mortal Kombat, has hinted at a Godzilla fighting game.
That will be incredible, much like the old GameCube one.
Yep, and I was gonna say, when I got my GameCube, the only game I owned, well, not my only game, but the first game I ever bought was Godzilla Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and he made a tweet yesterday saying, is there enough characters, at least 15, to make a Godzilla fighting game? And it was overwhelmingly yes. So I think if Legendary, because everybody thinks this is a Warner Brothers thing, Warner Brothers is a distributor. This is Legendary.
Right. Exactly.
So I think Legendary needs to double down. And also, I think ultimately what they could do is, if they want to get real ballsy, is do a Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover.
Yeah. I mean, that would tick both of our things off. Like, you with Pacific Rim, me with Godzilla, since I don't follow Pacific Rim as closely. Yeah. And that would just be incredible. I think finding a way to make that... and what I think would be really cool is if they somehow made it to where they're part of the same overall universe, but they're on two different forms of Earth.
Like, yeah, that's exactly like Earth 1, Earth 2.
And they get linked together by Space Godzilla, who drags Godzilla from Earth 1 to Earth 2, and then ensues from there. I mean, I'm just giving up all the good ideas. So
yeah, well, we'll get paid for it. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine seeing Gypsy Danger and Godzilla walking hand in hand, about to fight Space Godzilla in like a kaiju?
That'd be dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're just, and I also think Legendary wants to continue to double down on monster, big monsters in general, because they already have the Pacific Rim, the Black, on Netflix, which is I think it's 8 episodes or 6 episodes. It's very good. It's an anime, and you know, I'm not an anime fan. Andrew's very big in anime, but I loved it. I loved all the episodes. They were very good. They had the Kong coming out, so I'm excited for that. So Legendary, you can see they want to continue with these viable franchises. I mean, now they're going with Gundam. Gundam could be really cool with Jordan Roberts directing. Count Skull Island.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I just think that this could be a really fresh, healthy universe for us as fans. I think, you know, us as fans a lot of these franchises that we're into have just been at war with one another. You know, you got, you know, the Marvel fans one side fighting the other, DC fans, Snyder fans, new DC fans. You know, it's kind of like, and then you got the Godzilla fans like, dude, we just want more monster movies.
That's all. That's all we want. We don't care what the other people are doing. Just do right by us. And
exactly. And I think Legendary definitely has that. I think they've given us 4 perfect movies. I love the first Pacific Rim. Like, I consider the Pacific Rim movies loosely a part of the MonsterVerse, and I think the first Pacific Rim is a masterpiece. Second one was okay. I think that it was fun for what it is. I don't think it's like comparing like it's like going to a famous restaurant and getting like a filet mignon, and then you go to like Applebee's and get, you know,
they're filet mignon.
I mean, like that's what it was. Was it a decent steak? Sure. Yeah, it filled my stomach, but was it worth the money? No. So, but no, I love Legendary and I love their monster movies. I want to see it continue. And Godzilla versus Kong. Oh, real quick before we end this video, I did my ranking video.
Right.
It's on my channel. Check it out. Go to my Godzilla playlist. You can see where I rank, and I'll also just say it right now, actually, so save your view. But I personally rank it as from least to best. And again, I love all 4 of these movies with all my heart. Mine will go 2014, Kong Skull Island, King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong. What about you?
Well, I mean, I watched your video, and I watched your video before this came out, and I think you tweaked yours a little bit.
Yes.
You used to have Skull Island as your top, right?
No, my top was my original before Godzilla vs. Kong was my number 1 was King of the Monsters, 2 was Skull Island, and then 3 was 2014 Godzilla. But I did just rewatch the 4K of Godzilla 2014, and they fixed the coloring issues. And I got to be honest with you, Kong Skull Island and 2014 are pretty neck and neck. Yeah.
I mean, similar for me. So my number 1 is Godzilla vs. Kong. As I mentioned on your video, saying it was masterpiece, because it is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And so then my number 2 would be King of the Monsters. Number 3, I'm going with 2014 Godzilla. Not by much, but then Skull Island's my least favorite.
Okay.
And only because when I watch these movies, I like the more serious tone of the movies. And I feel like Kong had a little bit too much like joking around, which is fine if like that's what I'm into at the moment. But like, I don't know, I'm a Godzilla dude, so.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm definitely always more for Godzilla films than Kong films. Like that's what kind of stinks is like, let's say Toho doesn't give us the rights. Now, granted, we have Kong, and I'd be fine with more Kong movies, but there will always be a piece of me that feels left out.
Right.
And that's the thing, like Kong can still continue it, but I don't think there's as much viability without Godzilla. Like I think we can get 1 or 2 more Kong movies before people are like, but I think we can get quite a bit more Godzilla films. I think there's more meat on the Godzilla franchise, more characters than there is in Kong's world.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is mine and my buddy Andrew's view, thoughts and feelings on the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. Before we go, Andrew, give a nice plug to your channel. It's going to be starting hopefully soon. And until then, at least subscribe and show my boys some support.
Yeah, and andrewmedaTV on YouTube and Twitch. Gameplay. Usually I just stream like whenever I feel like. I don't have a specific schedule yet, but that's looking to change in the near future once I can actually get a graphics card. And yeah, that's about it. Look forward to content, and I'll be there.
Do you have any content on your page currently on YouTube?
YouTube, I have all of my old content from years ago.
Okay.
It's in a playlist called Old Videos. And then I did put up a new video that was it was like a 30-second clip from a Valorant stream that I had. Okay. But other than that, nothing new, but soon.
Yeah, and then for me, obviously, I try to push a video out every week, but I also want to do more collaboration videos, and I want to do more MonsterVerse videos. I'm definitely doubling down on MonsterVerse for sure. Trying to keep that alive and healthy and show Legendary and everybody else that we need this universe. So, as always, subscribe to my channel. The support I've been getting has been amazing. I can't thank you guys enough who have been watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. I never thought in my life I'd even get 50 subscribers, let alone over 100. And that's, to me, is really awesome, and I appreciate that. And comment down below, what did you guys think of Godzilla vs. Kong? And I will see you in the next video.